The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, he's back again by popular demand. It's the one, it's the only, it's Pops.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you guys are at.
It's choppy.
It's
Go ahead.
It's raining out here, but the bright side is, anytime you talk boxing, it's brighter than anything else that we're dealing with. So let's get it on.
All right, guys, give me 1 second because the stream is a little choppy. We're not in a place with great internet, but give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
Terrible. See how blurry it is? It's not like the worst, but so we're gonna go with the data. BT, how do I'm about to chuck I'm gonna chuck this.
Was that for turkey?
No, it's just the internet is so terrible.
Let me see. All right, guys. Let me know, guys, please. Let me know. Let me know if the stream is choppy or not, because where we're at doesn't have like the greatest signal in the world. I can kind of see it. Let us know if you can hear us, because I'm a little frustrated right now with where we're at.
We're experiencing bad weather too.
We're experiencing really bad weather where we're at. So listen, it's good to be here. There's a lot to talk about in regards to Lamont Roach, Tank. We're gonna get his thoughts on that. The press conference yesterday in New York City for the Ring Magazine card, and this new thing with Turkey and Dana White. A lot of you guys already asked me about that. Truth be told, I don't really want to talk about it because I haven't even had time to really figure out what do I even think about it. But we're here to discuss every and all things boxing. So look, before we get to the Lamont Roach Tank stuff, because we didn't get Pops' thoughts yesterday on yesterday's live about that, let's take some time to acknowledge the people that are already here, that are giving their comments and letting their thoughts and opinions be known. So my man KB, shout out to KB, says, I gotta ask about Dana White with this news too. Is he actually building a boxing promotion? Turkey and the CEO of WWE are involved. Is this good for the sport? Now, Dana White has had his boxing promoter's license since at least 2017, because I remember as early as 2017, he had got his own boxing promoter's license with Zuffa Boxing, but Zuffa Boxing was never really a thing. There's an interview on this channel. If you guys go look it up, go type in Dana White, or type in Eddie Hearn, Dana White, True School Sports. There's an interview in 2017 in New York City of me talking to a young Eddie Hearn about working with Dana White, and he said he always wanted to work with Dana White. So now, 8 years later, he's getting his wish. As far as it being a good thing, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like it could be good. It could be good for the sport as far as structure and getting fighters on a consistent level of activity. So that part of it is good. The not so good part of it is that boxing doesn't really have rules and regulations. So if you get somebody to have all that power, if Turkey or whoever does something that the boxing fans don't agree with, or if they have somebody that they really want to push in the rankings or whatever, remember, now Turkey has Ring Magazine to kind of propagate whatever he wants. Then you got, this whole thing going on now. So I think it could be a bad thing. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I have my opinions. I'm still trying to figure out what I believe about it all, but those are my early preliminary thoughts. You got any thoughts? You got anything you want to add to that?
I'm just going to say, in America, we all live the American dream. We all have our businesses. We compete for whatever competition it is, and vice versa with businesses and whatever. And the same through boxing and UFC is business. Turkey is the only one that everybody seems to be
dealing with.
Yeah, dealing with, and he's getting all this stuff. My question is, how's all this gonna be run together with the boxing and the UFC competing with each other? Which one's better? We know right now that people are popular with the I'm pretty sure with the UFC, MMA, whatever it's called. than boxing. Boxing's been around longer. So my question to you is, him having all this power, what, not freedoms, but what, how can each sport be better because of it? I don't see the UFC helping us, in my opinion, or boxing helping
UFC.
the UFC.
I can't really speak to
and people might argue, well, the great thing is now that Dana White is a big name for the UFC, and you got Turkey for boxing now. Now they're gonna say that casuals or fans can transcend from both sides. That's gonna be the argument.
Well,
but will it be successful? Is what I'm saying.
Well, I think it'll be successful because I feel like right now they're cornering the market. They have the majority of the fighters in boxing, right? So they can make the fights happen, and we know that the Saudis have a bankroll of money.
I'm gonna say one thing, Dana White. If you want to listen to me, I'm gonna tell you this right the fuck now.
Tell them how you really feel.
Keep fucking UFC in motherfucker America. Don't be sending all your fights.
That shit sailed.
And all the fights out there to fucking Saudi Arabia, because not all of us can go out there and see the fights. The fight started here, and it should stay here.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
But at least you're getting the fights.
Get the
at
fuck
least
out. No.
They don't care if you see the fights, Pops. At least you're getting the fights.
No. I think that's the only thing that I have big against Turkey. I understand he wants to get whatever. He wants to get exposure, tourism, whatever.
Well, he's put up the money, so that's the argument. He's put up the money so he can do
whatever he wants. But in the long run, the fans that can't go to, I mean, you tell me how many motherfucking Americans, and I'll leave it at that, can take a flight like next week. Oh, let's go to Saudi Arabia.
They don't care about that. You're talking about something they don't care about.
Right.
So it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Last thing I'll add about Dana White being involved in boxing. Truth be told, guys, Dana White has always been involved in boxing. Like for example, he has his fights on UFC Fight Pass, and they work with like Tom Loeffler's promotional company. They work with like a couple other smaller promoters, and they put their cards on there. Dana White has also been he's been kind of serving as an advisor, helping out Callum Walsh, the young 154-pound Irish contender. So like he's someone, right? Callum Walsh, he's someone that I feel will benefit from this more than most people because he's already had Dana White running his career. Okay. And so now if you get Turkey on board, that kid's gonna go to the top. So we'll see how it all goes. I'm gonna go ahead and just wait and see. I don't really have a strong opinion here nor there. You guys know what I think about Turkey though, and him long term in boxing. I will stand on that, but I can't really speak to this because I haven't really had a chance to really digest it and flesh it all out.
Just stay tuned.
Just stay tuned for when I do. But anyway, shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash the like button. The main topic of this live is Lamont Roach versus Tank. It's things are ongoing right now. Lawyers are being hired. Decisions are being reviewed as we speak.
Right.
We'll see what happens. But Pops, as far as Lamont Roach and Tank, I feel like to kind of go through some of our talking points from yesterday again, but now with you here.
Yeah.
We've reached a crossroads in the career of Gervonta Davis, where he's either going to use this to become a boxing legend, or this will be something that is ultimately going to be the true teller of his career, and he'll be known as a boxing fraud. I think with him, there's going to be no in between, right? So we have reached the crossroads. What do you think about this crossroads we've reached with Tank and his career and the Lamont Roach fight and whatnot?
Okay, I'm just going to say like this. First up, I'm going to go to that point now before forgetting that I want something else. One thing that I will say, what you're saying about Tank, that I want to comment is that Tank came out in his first comments after the fight or the post fight, and he came out and says, "I need to get back in the gym. I need to get back to doing what I have to do." So, and he also said in the press conference, if there's a second fight, believe me, there's not going to be no question left or no stone unturned. And I believe that he will use this more for motivation to prove why he's the best and what he will do to Lamont Roach if they fight in the second fight. I'm going for what he says, what he said in the verbatim of his press conference. That's not saying I'm taking it light because as we heard yesterday or the day before, or what the comment, he said that in the post conference, but then he goes and derails back to, well, maybe we should fight a retired senior citizen in Lomachenko.
What do you think about that? Tank's team trying to fight Lomachenko still.
That just shows me that he doesn't really want that fight with Lamont
Roach
that bad, because a real champion will say, okay, I want to get I don't want to leave no question to all my fans how I performed last time. I want to clean this up as fast as I can. I want to go back the next day, the next hour, the next second, and fight this guy again. You don't just derail and say, okay, well, I want to fight. You say one thing in the post conference, and then you go back and call out a senior citizen of Ukraine, all due respect to Lomachenko, to fight. So I think that the team doesn't know which way to go. They're very shocked. They're really shocked that that Tank didn't do what he was supposed to do. Okay, and one thing that BT always told me, that he said when they fight their opponents, a lot of fighters might have off fights, good fights, great fights, but they get up for whatever opponent they're gonna get. I think with Tank, and I'm gonna say straight up, I think he just became too complacent. Too like, okay, I'm gonna go into this fight, I'm gonna knock this guy out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And he's been doing it. He's a talented. I'm not taking those talents from him, but he walked into somebody that actually took his heart away from him, that he least expected was gonna do it.
Did you score the fight for Tank or Roach?
I scored it for Roach, and
Yeah.
I picked Tank to win. I had Tank.
Like most people.
Yeah, I had Tank. I thought Tank was gonna come in here by the 6th, 7th, knock him the fuck out. And that's not saying, no disrespect to Roach. To Roach, but Roach came in here and he showed. He stood in the pocket. He took it. He put anything that Tank gave him. He stood right there. And Tank was frustrated. The corner was frustrated.
Yeah.
The coaches were arguing within the fights. If you see, they were all arguing back and forth. They didn't know what to say, what to do. So to me, Tank really shocked, because he actually got an opponent that's like, yeah, motherfucker, hit me again. I'm gonna be standing right there. Hit me again. Bah! I'm gonna punch you right back. And that's what Roach did. And to me, Tank didn't have an answer for that. Don't tell me after the fight, oh, I could have, or I should have. No. You get into a fight, and maybe to talk about this, and you're that champion, you cannot take it lightly with anybody. You got to go in there and finish your fucking business. That's what Mike Tyson did for a long time, until he became get knocked out. He went in there like a pit bull and just and I think Tank just got too complacent with the media, with everybody. Not saying he's not a great talent. I don't want all you Tank boys up there. I like Tank, I respect him, but the reality is he got a reality check. Now we're all gonna see, is he really that dog that he said he is?
Now there's a lot of moving pieces right now. I know. I saw a statement today on Twitter, because somebody brought it up in the chat. They said that the case is closed, sadly. And then I saw the statement, but then I also saw that the WBA tweeted out as well that statement does not represent them, and it's still ongoing. So I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. But what we do know is that Lamont Roach has in fact hired attorney. He actually hired Canelo's attorney,
wow,
guy by the name of Greg Smith, and they're working to try to get the Tank fight overturned for a win, because there is enough evidence there to show with probable cause that there was a knockdown. Also a clip surfaced.
Yeah.
Steve Willis, the referee. I guess he was at his day job,
yeah,
and some guy saw him at his day job, and he filmed him. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on with that knockdown? Mm-hmm. Like, what did you see?" And he's like, "I cannot comment on that, sir. I cannot comment on that." He didn't want to talk about it.
Listen, in boxing, we see kind of different things. We've seen everything, but motherfucker, God bless Stevie Wonder. He could have seen that was a knockdown. Okay. Bottom line is, what's good for the gander, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
So there's no special privilege. Tank ain't no special privilege. Tank shouldn't be this. But in boxing, we see it all the time. And then for Willis, how the fuck do you put? You take the boxer, push, count, give him the 10 count, go into the corner, 8 count, whatever it is, go into the corner, and then all of a sudden you just put a dick in your mouth, or excuse me, a foot in your mouth.
And Tank yells at him.
Yeah.
Tank yells at him a couple times.
And then he just stops, and then he goes, no, you got knocked down. Bottom line, you kneel down. That's the rule. Everybody knows that. So I don't want people to say that it was an off night for Tank. You give motherfucking props where props need to be made. Okay? Bottom line is, the Roach came in there and he fucking exposed Tank. And I'm a big fan of Tank, so don't get it twisted. And show it, but we have to call it the way we want to call it.
Correct.
And he stood in the pocket. He took all the shots. I mean, he was throwing some right shots too. I'm talking about Roach. Bah, bah. And he was hitting. I said the only time I seen Tank came aggressive was when after that Neil, that whole thing controversy, he tried to come back and fight, put his power to see if he could try to knock out Roach, and that didn't happen. That shows me that that team, they don't want it. they didn't want the fight. And I'm gonna say another thing too that I didn't like, but I know they had to do it. The coaches came out before came into the fucking the press conference. No, Tank should have been the first one talking like a man. Talk like a man, motherfucker. Don't have the two. I'm not disrespectful. I like both trainers. Talk for you, then you're gonna come and talk and say what you gotta say. But I will also say on Tank's favor, he did took ownership for it. He said, "This is on me. I didn't fight the way I was supposed to fight." Well, I hope when you come out the next fight, you come out like a monster and you fuck up all your guys, because if you fight Roach again, I don't want to hear no other fight but a rematch with Roach.
So Virtuoso, shout out to Virtuoso, long time viewer. He says, this is actually I saw the statement, so he just reposted the statement in the chat. He said, the WBA isn't held responsible for the referee and the judges. It's the state commissions who's licensed those people to officiate these fights. The New York State Athletic Commission will be hearing from Roach's lawyer. Yeah, so the ruling is going to be with the commission, because the commission, the New York State Athletic Commission, they could have went to replay and they said there was some issues with the technology and all this bullshit. So that's who Roach's lawyer, Greg Smith, has to take it up with.
Right. I'll tell you like this. You know, boxing is so much of bullshit, to be honest. We gotta call it what we call it. When it's favorite for one guy, everything's okay. When it doesn't go their way, then it's all of a sudden all these fucking technicalities that come up about, and all this you couldn't see. You're gonna tell me that the fucking 4 judges that are scoring the fight in front of the ring, the 4 motherfuckers and the referee and everybody, and then the commissioner that sits there, the guys ring the bell, can't see that was a kneel down? You're gonna tell me that? The fuck out of here.
They might need your glasses.
Yeah, they might need mine. Am I the one that? Because no, you gave every fighter gets a break in a bad fight that we was about to say Tank had, or an off night we had, and this was Tank's break. But don't come in here and say that take the flowers from fucking Lamont from Roach when he came in here and what he did to Tank. He freaking exposed Tank. He stayed in the pocket, did what he was supposed to do, and he was not letting Tank intimidate him. You know what I mean? Like everybody's waiting for that knockout. All that shit didn't happen. And you got to respect Roach for that. Shout out to DC.
Apollo says, do you think it can be ruled a DQ? 1,000% it can be ruled a DQ, because when, first of all, there was an instance where they're doing work in the corner while the clock is ticking. That's a blatant violation of the rules. So it could definitely be ruled a DQ. I mean, if we had a more stern referee in there, I mean, there was plenty of time where Tank is literally yelling at Steve Willis in the middle of the fight, complaining. There was a couple instances I felt where Tank could have either had a point deducted or there'd been a DQ.
And one thing BT tells me, when a fighter as talented and as professional as Tank, and I'm not here to patch him to see what I seen, when he starts complaining and doing this, you already know that whatever Roach was doing it good, was getting to his head throughout the whole fight, and Tank was getting frustrated. When you stop training to, he hit me here, come on, man, you from Baltimore, motherfucker, stand up and just take what you gotta take. So what I'm saying is, the way Roach fought, he took Tank out of his fucking game. Simple as that.
Correct. Henry Vault says, BT, do you think the New York State Athletic Commission is going to overturn the decision? I have my doubts. Also, with everyone focusing on the knockdown, which isn't the main issue, the face wipe of Dave's corner is illegal, and it's a DQ on the spot. Exactly, yeah. You never see that. The clock is ticking. He is literally, he after the knee, he goes and he wipes his face in the middle of the round while the clock is ticking. So that should be a blatant disqualification. And do I think they're going to overturn it? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to overturn it. I think it'll stand as a draw. They'll do a rematch for more money, and that's how it's gonna go. I think the rematch will be one of the biggest fights in boxing, truth be told.
Yeah, and I think they should have it in the DC area. To be honest, have it in. And he earned that. And you know, it goes back to how we started this video. Is Roach gonna show that he's the big dog that he is, the pit bull that he is, or is he gonna fall back and just allow the Roach to come back and Tank. Tank. And I'm gonna tell you like this: Roach got the momentum going into if they have a rematch, and that's what should be next. It shouldn't be all this other bullshit that Tank's team is trying to do. Make the fight right away. The fans want to see it. There's no need to narrate. What do you call it? Squeak. What is it called?
Marinate.
Yeah, marinate for a long time. No, everybody wants to see that fight again and see what we're gonna see what he's all about. And I'm not saying that, like I said, Tank's not a tough dog. I'm just saying like this fight right here.
It showed a lot.
Showed a lot about the heart and grit that motherfucking Roach has, and it also shows that Tank, a lot of weaknesses in Tank's game. He took it for granted. He took the opponent for fucking granted. Whatever it's called. You don't take nobody for granted. You go in there and if you did what you're supposed to do, we'll be talking about this.
All right. Pops, we're gonna switch gears for a second because it still pertains to Tank. So shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash the like button, get your comments, and we'll get to you guys eventually. But now, I've seen a lot of the Shakur Stevenson fans flapping their gums and say, see, this just shows that he can't be Shakur. So, Pops, what do you think about? Do you have any updated thoughts on Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson? Do you have any updated thoughts on that?
First of all, you can't compare Roach, right? Roach to Shakur or Shakur to LaRoche. Two different persons, two different fighters, and you don't know what type of mentality they're gonna come into the fight. Me personally, the way Roach came into the fight and stood there and hit and it got into the pockets was great because it showed Tank that he could take it. I've not seen that from fucking Shakur. I've seen Shakur sit there inside the game in the shuffle, with the fucking Philly shuffle, and just stand there and look. That's all he does. He fucking look. He don't throw enough punches for me to say. He doesn't do that. So don't sit here, and I like Shakur, but I have to call what I call it. Don't all you fanboys for Stevenson say, oh, this no. Because Stevenson, I've seen a lot of fights where he just stood there and didn't answer back any kind of shit. He just stood there in that fucking defense and think that's going to win him the fight. That didn't happen with Roach. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't agree with what the fans are saying that Zappa will win Shakur. No, please don't even compare it.
How about Keyshawn Davis?
I don't know, man. That
now people.
Keyshawn Davis.
I thought Keyshawn Davis could beat Tank before the Roach fight.
Yeah, I think Keyshawn Davis will give a run for his money to Tank, in my opinion. The reason I say that is because Keyshawn will come forward and he will throw. My issue with Shakur is
he doesn't have any offense to keep.
He doesn't throw or push the opponent back as much as he did. He doesn't do that. He thinks. I get it, but he has that defensive thing like what's his name?
Pernell. He's not like Pernell.
No, he's not like Pernell. But I'm saying
Pernell has some offense.
No, right. I'm just gonna get that. Pernell throws offense. That's my question with Shakur. I don't want to hear what Shakur could have done, should have done, how to do it, when to do it, because he fucking hasn't done it yet to get my point across. That if he goes in there with Tank, he's gonna get beat.
I hear you. Well, you got any thoughts about Tank and Calvin Ford?
Man, that something happened there. It's like a father and son. I relate to them as you and I, father and son. And sometimes the father keeps giving you advice, and at times you don't want to take it. So at some point they must have a big discrepancy that they both didn't agree on. And so the son, because he's got the power, because of the power of switching trainers, and the father, because he has the maturity and the wisdom not to waste his time arguing with somebody that doesn't want to listen. Well, I don't think it was right. I think it affected the fight towards Tank. Not having the voice that's always been there for you is like having the voice that passes away and dies. When your father or your trainer dies, and the fighter goes into a fight, and then it's not the same because that voice is not hearing the same words of wisdom from that voice. So for me, when you do a change as big as Tank did, it did affect him, in my opinion. Even though Barry knew him for a long time and blah 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 blah, not the same. Not the same. He's there, yeah. Tank cleared it up. I said he's there, but you still even see Tank in the corner of this fight, arguing in the middle of a fight in the corner, going back and forth. You can't do that. You go in there with a game plan. You get the respect. So, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think Tank made a bad decision and it cost him the fight.
Cost him the fight, and his reputation for the time being, until he goes in there and gets it back in blood, has taken a massive hit, and he has lost a bit of that that aura,
Yeah, and the crazy part is people are gonna argue and say, oh no, but they're both trainers, what they're working along. It's not the same. It's not the same. You had a fight with your dad, and now you brought in your fucking uncle that's been on the team for the longest time. Now you want him all of a sudden after 30 or 20 some fights that you've been winning.
You want to change the whole script.
You want to change it. It's like having music with singing a song without the right music to it to fit in. The same thing with this. You took the music out of the song, which was Calvin Ford being the part of the music with the song, to Tank, listen to him and do everything. Just because you acted like a baby, Tank, it could cost you your fight like it did like it did in this Roach fight. You're arguing back and forth. You can't do that.
For sure. Shout out to everybody here rocking with us. It's your boy BT with Pops, the untouchable True School Sports Empire live. Early in the morning, 11:33 a.m. Eastern, 8:33 Pacific. What is it? 10:33 Central. Yep. And shout out to my man right here from Japan. Shout out to all the Japanese people here. You know, I got a lot of fans in Japan, a lot of viewers in Japan, so I appreciate you guys. God bless. Apollo says Tank's loss was to a trade pick. Lamont Roach is nowhere near the caliber of Shakur. Come on now, Pops. This is just Tank. This just exposed Tank. It did expose Tank. I think it exposed Tank, but I'm not gonna sit here.
I'm not.
They have look. Shakur has. I think Shakur has more talent than Lamont Roach. He does, but he's a different type of fighter. He's not gonna like the way Lamont Roach was having success against Tank. That's not what Shakur does. Nope. If he were to beat Tank or have success, it's gonna look different. He's not gonna be in there.
And I agree with what you're saying. That
might actually even be a boring fight.
And I agree with what you're saying that Shakur in a different level than Lamont Roach. Right? You're right about that. But that's not my question. My question is, will Shakur answer the bell when it comes time to? And that's the point. Will he go ahead and throw punches when he's supposed to throw punches, or he's gonna stay in that Philly shuffle and that defensive stance the whole fight? How many fights that I watched where he don't throw no punches? When he's right there, throw your fucking punches. Why are you letting him just punch you? Connor, do something. And that's my point. So yes, I agree with you that Shakur's a different level than Roach, but Roach has more by heart and throws punches. Throw your fucking punches, Shakur. That's what I'm getting at. That's my argument. Don't stand in front of a fighter. Don't throw punches.
Lil T says, "What are your thoughts on Haney versus Tank?" That ship is still that fight's never happening. Devin Haney's a welterweight now. Tank's at 35, so they're never gonna fight. Yeah. If they would have fought at 35, I think Tank would have beat the brakes off Devin. Mm-hmm. Honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the. I mean, I know you really don't like Devin, but like I'm never waiting the biggest on Devin.
Those are old fights are like.
That's the crazy thing about the Tank situation is like he's picked opponents so carefully, right? That now all the guys that he could have fought, have all moved up. Teo's at what? He's at 40. Yeah. Ryan's at 47. Devin's at 47. So really, the only fight that does make sense is Lamont Roach because all the other guys are in higher weight classes.
And I will say another thing that you always say, BT, when the fire is burning in the division where there's time to make the big fights before the guys get older or tear off, you know what I mean? Like Lomachenko, when the fights, all these fights before the Guy Kings or whatever you want to call them, at the 135 were there. All these fights were not being done. And sure, we know the politics of the promoters, the managers, that cost, in Tank's case, a lot of the fights, I will assume. But that's not the case. We waited too long. That's what my son says all the time. Like right now, we were talking about the Japanese fighter, and Brendan was like, "They gotta make these fights now because when you wait too long, the fighter's prime is gonna be gone."
There's no such thing like I get. I was talking about that earlier. I get frustrated when I go on these little rants about like Inoue taking forever to go to featherweight, and then people always want to say, "Well, BT, his plans are he's gonna fight this fight on this date, and he's fight this fight on that date," and like I don't like fighters talking about fights. Like nothing is for certain. There's no such thing as plans. There's no such thing as plans in boxing. The only plan that is in place is your fight that you have in front of you. That's the only plan that matters, right? So I'm a big proponent of like you gotta strike with the iron taut, and I feel as though that what's happening with guys like Tank and just everywhere in boxing, not just Tank. Is these guys take forever to do what they gotta do. They want to marinate shit. They want to be like they think they're smarter than they really are. Like, no, get to it. I understand there's a business. Sometimes fights do need to marinate a little bit, but like there is such a thing as over marination. You gotta get to it as quick as possible because we live in the social media era. You know, things move quickly. And you gotta find ways to stay relevant in the biggest and best fights possible, in as a timely manner as possible.
Yeah, and I would with BT. Things change so fast in boxing, like the blink of an eye, that you might be talking about a topic today, and maybe in 3 hours.
It's old news.
It's old news. So the same thing happens with all these old fights that we want with Devins and Tank and Lomachenko and whatever and this and that. Those fights are long gone. Because the guys are gonna get older and get move up in divisions like that. So we lose those fights that we really wanted to go see.
Shout out to Carl Hansen. He says, BT and Pops, fellas, hope all is well. Shout out to Carl.
Bless you.
Out there in Australia. Hope all is well with you, champ.
God bless your granddaughter.
Yes. But look, y'all can keep commenting on Tank if you want. We'll get to it. But look, I want to switch gears yesterday's press conference, Pops. We had a press conference in New York City yesterday for the Ring Magazine card, the Times Square card. Truth be told, I was very disappointed with the press conference. I thought the press conference left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
I thought, with having so many personalities up there, including Oscar and Eddie, there was just a lack of moments. It wasn't a very great press conference, right? And I'm hoping that the second press conference is better. But there's a couple of things I want to touch on. I want to talk about all those fights and get your opinions on those fights, Pops. But before I get into those, right? Because we talked about this last night. Teofimo Lopez, now look, I ain't want to play the race card. I don't really give a damn about racism. I don't care about that type of shit. But it's a popular topic in boxing right now.
Sure.
He's saying things that are just crazy. He says that we're all racist because we're all divided and we're all against the human race, and he's all over the place. What do you make of Teofimo Lopez and his comments and just how he's been over the last year?
I just feel like and I get it, Teo has accomplished a lot in the sport. He's a talented fighter, but it's like he's always got to draw or find a way to try all the attention to himself. You're up there with some good fighters up there. Whether you're the king or not, be a humble king and let them talk. And when you get in the ring, go ahead and fight them. You just don't continue on bringing attention to yourself with certain comments you didn't make, this and that. So for me, I see it more as an attention thing. And his dad was saying, "Oh yeah, but he just wants to." He wants to bring excitement, and he just talk. If it doesn't mean it, doesn't matter. If you're bringing up a point that's going to actually put fire in other people, other cultures, or whatever it may be, or how many people do it, it's not good. It's not right. Talk about you were the first, whatever. You done this, you done that, but shut your fucking mouth. I'm gonna go with Garcia. I think as the process goes on, it's gonna get better. Having these fighters up there for me, it's gonna get better as the process goes on because. Down the road, they're all going to meet each other, just like Garcia said. I'm going to meet you, Teo, so shut your mouth. And I'm not mad at Teo. I get it, but you're trying to bring the attention to him. But sometimes you have to tone your shit down. You talk too much. And I know we have it in boxing, but tone your shit. Let the other boxer express himself and wait until your turn.
What I find pretty funny is that, like, a lot of people in boxing have been rallying around Ryan Garcia. They've been saying, yeah, give me that, Ryan. Tell him. Bro, Ryan said things like 100 times worse than Teo. Yeah. And then all he had to do was apologize and say he was drunk, and then you guys are like, "Oh, it's all good." So like that's why like I have thick skin. Like I don't really care for that kind of stuff. People say mess up things to me all the time on YouTube and in real life, and I don't really care. As long as you don't touch me and you don't put your hands on me, we're good. But
yeah, I just think
look, man, like I get why people are upset. We're in a sensitive ass society now, and everything is racist. Even if it's not racist, it's racist.
Yeah.
But part of me actually does like, because Teo said like it's boxing, like everything should go right. And my thing is like I don't agree with that for the fans, but for the fighters, like some of you fighters, the fighters are literally getting punched in the head. They're literally giving each other brain damage, and y'all gonna let a couple words hurt you. Like, whatever happened to sticks and stones can break my bones, but words don't hurt me? What happened to those things that we used to get told as kids?
Well, I mean, that's a two-way street for Teo, because Teo saying all this shit, right?
Yeah.
He just doing it for entertainment. It doesn't get in his head. He doesn't really mean what he says. When Barboza got to that motherfucker, got right to his head.
Yeah.
You could see it right off the bat when Barboza started talking shit to him. Teo was getting more angry and more angrier. You know what I mean? It came to the point that thank God that Barboza brought it out. He finally decided which borough he's from. Barboza said, "You don't even know where the fuck you're from."
Yeah.
So
at least at least Barboza got Teofimo to admit that he's finally from South Florida.
So I think that really got into Teo's head, and I think it's gonna, as the press conference goes on, it's gonna get more into his head. So it won't be decided until they get into the ring. But I'm just saying, like, come on, Teo. You're saying that all the stuff you don't mean to say it, but somebody says something to you, you want to sit there and cry like a bitch.
Well, last comment on that for me,
is
like I remember when he fought Diego Magdaleno, and Diego Magdaleno was going on about Honduras, and I guess he said like Honduras has a bad soccer team, and Honduras is Honduras that, and then Tio knocked him out, and he was like, "That's what happens when you talk about Honduras." So
you think it's gonna happen?
It's just funny. It's just funny now. Like that was said to him. Now he's saying crazy things. Like it's just funny. Like
I get
the cycles of things.
He wants the attention. Even towards the end of the whole press, they had to get security off the stage.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Anyway, all right. Now about the actual fight, you got Tio Barboza. To me, Tio versus Barboza is hands down, far and away the best fight on the card. It's the most competitive fight on the card.
Right.
What do you think about the fight, and who are you favoring?
I mean, it's Barboza right now. To me, he's got the rhythm, the thing,
the momentum.
Yeah, the momentum coming to this fight. Tio hasn't fought since what? A year? Has it been?
Tio's last fight was against Steve Claggett, which was like last October, December.
And I'll be honest.
No, September.
And I'll be honest, the last couple of fights, I haven't seen the Tio that I want to see. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, in this fight, believe it or not, I think, and you all might think I'm crazy, but how I feel right now, I might change with fight. I think Barboza is going to take him out.
You think Barboza's going to knock him out?
I don't know if I win by UD or something, but the only reason I say that is because Tio has not, in the last couple of fights, I haven't seen the dominant Tio that I want to see. It's like what you say, like what you always say, which one, flip heads or tails, which Tio's going to show up? Is it going to be the dominant one or the one that's messed up with whatever? I mean, I will say one thing, he's not married anymore, so I know you got a clear mind with that, but what I'm getting at is we don't know which Tio is going to show up. You know what I mean? Don't continue saying that you got the Ring magazine belt, that you got this. Those accomplishments you already did already. We already know that. Just like Barboza told him, we know you got all that. So shut the fuck up, like Garcia told him. But this is what you're going to do now. I think Barboza, because he's been the underdog all the way along, and Tio even came out and said, oh, this is just a middle, interim belt or whatever. I had that one in my first 15 fights or 7 fights or whatever. Okay, fine. But him being the underdog and coming and calling him out for how many years? 2 years or 3 years?
It's been a while. It's like 4 years.
And then Tio's lame answer was, oh, because you didn't have nothing or you didn't have this, whatever. My boss said, okay, well, now I got something. Not what you accomplished, but guess what? I get to dance for you in the ring, and I'm going to show you what it's all about. And I think the more Barboza talks to Tio, the more Barboza's mental game is going to go overdo.
So are you going with Barboza?
Yep.
Okay. I'm tempted to pick Barboza myself, honestly, like, because Barboza, like, he doesn't have the skill level of a Tio. He doesn't, like, but he's very well rounded everywhere around the board. He's very technically sound fighter. But I think Barboza and the way he talks is actually gonna get Tio to focus. I'm being optimistic
here. You say you're gonna turn motivational.
Yes. I'm being optimistic here. Yeah. Because like.
Could be like a fire for him to get better.
Tio doesn't think that Arnold Barboza is shit. He thinks like this guy is nothing. Right. Much. Arnold being how he is, talking. I think as this goes on, Tio is actually going to lock in. And he is going to bring back the real Teofimo.
Okay, so you say you're going to see the real dominant going to come in there and probably knock him
down.
Maybe
I'll be wrong.
Look him down. I don't know.
Maybe I'll be dead wrong and my boss will just box the hell out of him. But I think he's gonna do too much talking, and he gonna get the real Tio here. Yeah. He's gonna find out. Yes, he's gonna find out.
That's a good point. I never looked at it that way. Like you also used to Tio could use that small motivation to come forward. I'm just going based on if Tio being this a lot better levels of boxing we've been talking to this whole life, then I expect him to go in there. If he's gonna take Barboza, he better take him out in dominant fashion. Only I say that because in the last couple of fights, Tio has not improved. It's not showing me the Tio that I want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that Tio. So for me, and I've always liked, my opinion, like I say, I'm always wrong too. I like the underdog thing. I always like the underdog, and I always feel that him getting this opportunity, and he knows probably.
Like I'm not gonna be shocked if he wins. Like Barboza's firing on all cylinders. Really, if I'm being logical here, Tio hasn't really shown me a lot that makes me think But that's how he is. Yeah. That's how he is. There is no logic with this guy. Have you heard how he talks?
Yeah.
The BC 1600 BCE and the Roman Empire. He doesn't make sense. Yeah. He doesn't make sense when he talks. He doesn't make sense when he fights. But every time you're ready to stick that fork in Tio, like Josh Taylor, everyone was ready to stick a fork in Tio.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
So You know, you can't be logical when you pick his
Yeah,
fights. You can't.
And then again, I also will go back to that point as well. He talks a lot. Look what happened with the Cambosis fight. Fucking talking all the time, talking. But
Tio's Muslim now. Apparently, he said, alhamdulillah. He said, alhamdulillah.
Listen, these guys are everything they want to be until fight night. We'll see. I want to see.
You want to see what he is on fight night?
Yeah, I respect whatever they are, whatever. But I'm saying, as far as your talent, you're right. Going to the fight, he's got to be like a 3-1 favorite or something like that.
Probably something like that.
So yeah, you are the money. You are the money. But that doesn't mean the last 2 fights. I always look, and Brendan said don't always go by that, but I always do. The last couple of dances that you've had, you haven't impressed me, Theo.
All I'm saying is, look, if I'm Arnold, he better tone it down a little bit. He gonna fucking wake Tio up.
Yeah,
he gonna wake him up.
Yeah. And it was funny.
Just let Tio think you're not shit and just chill.
BT was telling me, I said, man, Barboza never really talks now. And Brendan said before this live,
he gonna talk the most. Yeah. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But shout out to Apollo. He says Tio was like, y'all fighters are getting scared because y'all don't want to mess with the bag, and I get tired of Ryan always trying to be on the redemption tour. Yeah, man, like that's what it was. Because Ryan was like, after Ryan cursed T Raw, he's like, yeah, yo, we're just trying to be cool, and they're all trying to be cool because they don't want to mess up the whole Turkey a la Sheik bag. Which, you know what? That's another reason. Hold on, that's another reason why I don't like why I am against the Saudi shit, because these fighters are getting paid. They're getting paid a lot of money, right? So now they don't feel like they gotta promote anything.
Yeah. And
now the press conferences are boring, and all we ever hear is, first of all, thank you to the excellency, and it's all no. This is boxing, man. This ain't golf. This ain't cocaine. No. This ain't tennis. I don't want civilized fighters. I want people talking shit. I want to be excited.
Yeah, and in this sport, like Brendan says, this is prize fighting. You don't know if you're gonna come back alive or not. You know, it's not like basketball. You miss 100 shots, you average 25 points. You come tomorrow and redeem yourself. Or in baseball, you don't hit a home run, you get another chance. In fucking boxing, you get knocked the fuck out. You might not even wake up from it. So you got to go in there and talk. You got to go in there and come with that attitude, like that mean streak. Because you don't know. You got to survive.
Shout out to my boy, a fighter's chant. He says, "True school. I'm glad you removed yourself long ago from joining those panels from 2020 from the smaller YTBC channels where people are just flat out evil, hypocrites, liars, and no morals." Yeah, man. To address this, right? Because I had somebody ask me this at BT, and I've been asked this question before, like, BT, why don't you go to smaller channels panels anymore? First of all, it's not the pandemic anymore. You know, I don't have all this time. Like the world isn't as slow, and I don't have all that time in the world like I used to. I'm a busy man these days. My time is very valuable, and I do value my time, right? So with a lot of those channels, you get a lot of people that are envious, a lot of people that don't even love boxing, don't even watch enough boxing for me to talk to them. And it's just a waste of time. And I made the decision a long time ago, like 5 years ago, that like I'm going to be very selective of what channels I go on, and I'm only going to work with who I want to work with, and that's how it's going to be. You know, respect to everybody who makes content and that's growing their channels and covering boxing. We all love the same sport, but you know, I can be in the YouTube boxing community, but I don't got to be of the YouTube boxing community, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And also I'll just shine a little bit on that, what BT was saying. Like right nowadays, you go into YouTube and I see all kinds of different channels now, man. I don't know anymore. I mean,
there's so many channels in.
Yeah, so you don't know what. So I think BT's done the right thing. Just do my thing. Yes, and BT will admit, yeah, I'm biased about this fight, or I like this fight, but he'll say it live. You say, okay, yeah, I did this, I did that, but he doesn't continue on the same. And I like that. I like BT stay. I'm gonna stay by myself.
And it's negative. Like a lot of it is negativity.
And a lot of times subscribers even come here and say to BT, "Oh, this channel's talking about you."
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say no names and give nobody no shine, but there'll be channels here on YouTube that don't have enough creativity or boxing knowledge to just make content about the sport. So the best thing they can do is talk about little old BT just minding his business, right? And then I'll get comments. People will be like, "Oh, BT such and such was talking about you," and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad he could be provided with some good content for his channel. But I personally don't give half of a singular fuck. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, covering boxing, giving y'all the best content we can, and keep the channels. Yeah. So
on to the next.
MEZBX says the power that Tio showed at 135 hasn't translated to 140 yet. No, it hasn't. You're right. And, so that's why I think he's not as effective. Like when he was at 135, he was putting people out like bad. And when he hits guys at 140, like they just take it. They
Yeah.
take it, and he
Yeah.
has to find other ways to win. Like even when he beat Josh Taylor, he didn't beat Josh Taylor because he knocked him out.
Right.
He beat Josh Taylor because he had a supreme advantage in speed and athleticism,
Mhm.
and Taylor just couldn't work him out. So I would agree with that. Lord Zed says, I'm against Turkey too. I don't trust, and BT sniffed out the corruption first. Yeah, not just me, but Zettel as well, Sean Zettel, of course, because it's just bigger than boxing. Hopefully this thing does go well with the UFC and Dana White, and it could be a good thing for boxing long term. But I have my doubts, if I'm being all the way honest. And Hyro's excited. He says, BT, I can't wait for the TKO league. The production value that Dana White and Nick Khan are gonna bring is going to be epic. I can't wait for the Callum Walsh fight. He's just happy because UFC is involved in boxing now.
Hyro, I'll call you. Thanks for calling me, man. I just been too busy. I'm tired and stuff, but I'll get back with you. Thank you, Hyro. God bless.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Lord Zed as well in the chat. He says that Dana and Turkey both with their heads still together won't get Jake knocked out. They secretly are okay. Hyro says that he's the one that exposed Turkey first. Hyro.
Did he?
To be fair, he was hating on Turkey.
Okay.
Like long ago.
Hyro, the secret what you call it, a CEO of True Screw.
Correct.
I like that, Hyro.
All right, so look. Next fight on the card I want to talk about. You got Devin Haney, Pops. He's back. First time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Suing Ryan Garcia, coming off of a very embarrassing performance.
Yeah.
A lot of questions about him. More seems to be more questions than answers. He's taking Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
Past his best Jose Ramirez. Right. But a Jose Ramirez who won't be at 140, killing himself to get to the weight.
Right.
Who maintains that, he has enough in the tank to beat a guy like Devin Haney.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this fight? What do you make of it? Because it's at 143 or 144 catch weight.
I think in this fight right here, I'll be honest with you. I think this fight is more important for Devin's career than it is for Ramirez, because Ramirez accomplished a lot, has done a lot, and it's really, in my opinion, Devin's got to come out here and prove all the critics wrong. And the way he got beat by Ryan Garcia, I'm just saying, like, it's a fluke. He got to make us believe that he is that fighter from Oakland or from where he's from. He's got that heart. He's got it. So for me, this is more important for him to come out here and fight. I think the experience from Ramirez will play a big part in it. But I want to see what type of a fighter did that. All those knockouts really knocked him sensitive to David Haney, no disrespect, and change his tactics and or style of fighting where he can become more aggressive. Because he is a big fighter too. He's tall. He just got to go in there and do it. Does he have the heart to do it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. The one that I like about this fight from a style standpoint is that, Jose Ramirez's dominant punch is the left hook.
Okay.
And I said this on Sean Tatel's yesterday when we did our collab video. Make sure you guys go check out Sean Tatel's channel. We're doing like regular collabs every week. So if you like those videos, good box talk, go check out his channel for that. But Jose Ramirez, his dominant punch is the left hook. And even though he's like this Olympian with deep amateur background, I feel like for a guy with that type of background, he relies too much on that one singular punch. And so it's good for Devin because we know Ramirez is going to be looking for that left hook. Mm-hmm. And what was the punch that kept putting him on his ass against Ryan Garcia? The left hook. It's obviously a different type of a left hook because Ramirez has to be kind of more on top of you when he throws it. Ryan can just kind of snap it out there from range. So it's different in the way they go about it, but it's still the same punch. So Devin will get some practice against a good fighter to how to defend the left hook.
And to go along with that, I don't think Ramirez's power is the same as Garcia's when he throws it. You know what I mean?
No. He's got more like accumulation power. Ryan's like that snappy, quick power. Yeah.
More of a point type boxing type thing, but for Ramirez than it is for Garcia. So I just want to see what Devin's going to show. Like, is he going to be the plain old Devin that comes in there that I hate when he just comes out there, throws a jab, comes out? Or is he did he change his style, or did he become a hungrier fighter or more aggressive fighter? And I know it's hard to change fighters' style overnight, but damn, you better show me something. And you're young. You're a lot younger than Ramirez, so I expect you to do something.
I haven't thought a whole lot about Ramirez. Like, I haven't thought highly of him as a fighter for some years now. Like, I probably say like when he ducked the Regis Prograis fight because he was getting married or whatever that was kind of when I was like, okay, he don't really want to fight like that no more. It's not really in his heart to be a great anymore.
His hunger's gone.
His hunger's gone. And you know what? Fair play to him. He made good money in the sport. He's done great for Fresno and his people and his community.
Yeah.
He has a lot to be proud of. But I didn't think that, he had that hunger anymore, right? And then he fought Bartholomew, and that was confirmed.
Yeah.
Bartholomew is past his best, and he didn't look so hot against Bartholomew. So I just think that I'm really intrigued to see like I know the story is Devin, right? And the story should be Devin, but I'm really excited. I'm really intrigued to see how much does Ramirez really have left, because he's adamant that 140, like now that he's not at 140, he's gonna be stronger. So if Ramirez is stronger and he can impose that size on Devin, I think there could be a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And if there is a little bit of trouble, like if Ramirez does put Devin Haney in any sort of trouble at all in this fight,
so you're saying
I want to see where Devin Haney is mentally.
About going with Ramirez,
I'm not picking him to win. I'm
saying you're picking him because
I'm not picking him.
No, you're not picking. But talking about Ramirez, you're saying that left hook that Ramirez have will play a big part in the fight against Devin. Will play a big part in him getting his shots off and doing his thing. Put that left hook. It ain't a Garcia left hook, but it's still a left hook that could, that Devin's gonna have problems with.
Yeah. So saying, I'm sorry.
My whole point was that the Ramirez having a left hook coming into this fight, like we said in the beginning, with Devin, is still gonna give problems to Devin because Devin doesn't know how to defend that left hook.
Yeah, I think so. And it'll give Devin some practice for the Ryan rematch, right? Now Haney Strivol says if this fight was real and Ramirez still had heart, I don't understand why the fight is being made. Ramirez is many levels above Devin. It's clear Ramirez is coming to lay down for payday. He might be coming for the payday.
Oh wow!
But I don't think that Ramirez was ever levels above Devin Haney. Truth be told, I never really thought highly of either of these guys. Like I thought Ramirez was really good. Like I thought when he fought like Mo Hooker in 2019, going into the Taylor fight in 2021, I thought he was at a high level then. But even in this prime, I always thought Ramirez was a little bit overhyped.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But a good fighter, unified champion, I can't take that from him. Had underrated hand speed, but I think Devin should probably win a UD. Devin by UD in a boring fight.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think Devin's gonna come in there and try to
knock him out?
Yeah,
Listen.
He's got to do something. I'm just throwing out there just for the hell of it.
Another thing that I want to highlight about Devin, right? Why I don't believe in his mental psyche, right? This dude had an opportunity to fight Sandor Martin. Remember that?
Yeah.
Sandor Martin was the mandatory challenger for his belt. This dude ducked Sandor Martin. Now look, Sandor Martin's a good fighter. I personally thought Sandor Martin beat Puello. I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was close. Yeah. I thought he beat Puello. And he's proven himself over his career to be a versatile fighter, more versatile than I even gave him credit for, right? He's not a big puncher. Sandor Martin is not a big puncher.
Right.
That was the ideal fight to come back on.
Right.
And Devin didn't want to fight because he wanted to get overpaid for the fight. He thought he wanted like $5 million for a $2 million fight.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. So that to me signals a lack of confidence.
Yeah, because I mean, if he should have taken that fight, who knows what would have got him, what would have happened. But because you didn't take it, it's like you said, his confidence is not there, and that's why I think when they asked him yesterday, they asked Devin why did you take as much time? So I took a year off just to spend time with my kid that I had and that and bullshit. You took a year off because it was a year off. Hopefully that you have to recuperate from all them fucking knockdowns that Garcia gave you. And don't get it twisted. When he goes into this fight, even though it's not Garcia, he's going as soon as he gets that ring, the first thing he's gonna think of the last time I was here, I got my ass kicked. So we'll see how he does.
So the back of his head.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy right here, a longtime viewer, New Car. He says, I've followed Jose. He really slid the past 2 fights. He might train too hard and he aged himself in between camps. Yeah,
wow.
That's possible. I mean, that's very possible. Like, he's one of those guys. I never met Jose Ramirez. Like, I never been to Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. But I already know what kind of fighter he is just by how he goes. He's one of those blue collar fighters. Like he's one of those guys that's probably very easy to work with in the gym. Like if you tell him to spar 15 rounds, he'll spar 16 rounds. Yeah. He'll always give you a little bit more of himself in the gym. And that's where you see the
hard work.
Guys like Ramirez, for fighters like him, you need to have people in the gym with him that will tell him to say, "Yo, slow the fuck down," because he won't stop.
Yeah, that's what
Angelo's like that.
Yeah,
Angelo Leo is like that.
Is he?
Angelo's like that, where he'll be in the gym, he'll be in camp. You know, he wants to always go the extra mile because he always feels like the opponent is gonna do something more, and that's where you need to have people like his dad Miguel, people like me, tell him, "Yo, sit your ass down, calm it down, look, rein it in." And Ramirez, I think Ramirez is probably the same way.
We had this discussion about another fight that I won't mention, and one thing that you say that the reason he hasn't as much as he should have is because you said I've noticed that he overworks himself in the damn gym. And then that also comes to play when the big fight comes. You're burnt out.
Correct. You gotta save your best for
last
fight night. So it is what it is. Sliding Cash says agreed. Martin is one of those fighters that's always gonna be hard to look good against. Yeah, nobody ever looks good against Sandor Martin, win or lose. So I get it.
He got better, Martin.
He didn't fight Martin because of the purse. Stop the fucking cap. No. I said that. The main reason he didn't fight Sandor Martin was because he wanted to get ridiculously over fucking paid. That's why he didn't fight him. Devin Haney's been getting overpaid his whole career, damn near, right? And that fight at the most on the Devin side, that fight's like what, maybe like a $2 million fight, top maybe.
And let me tell you this, that's the worst thing that Devin did, because you've always had money. You're always gonna get money. You should have took that fight to go in there and see what you could do against this guy, Martin, whatever his name was, and beat the fuck out of him, so you can let your fans know that you're back. But no, you're more worried about your money.
That to me,
money, that you already got enough money.
That actually was the perfect fight to come back to.
Yep.
Like Martin is a hard guy to look good against. I understand, but like he's not a big puncher, so he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Like
that's what they were saying in the live. I mean, when he was fighting, that he took side money to let Devin fight whoever he wanted to fight because Devin didn't want to fight him when he turned off the fight.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
His attrition style, and they say he trains like Virgil, who also overtrained himself into the rhabdo crisis. I saw Jose doing sprints in the ES News video for Barboza. He looks set. Yeah, listen, I never met Jose. I never been in the gym with him. I know fighters. Like I know you can't. There are certain things people can't tell me about boxing. I know fighters.
I can see a mile away.
I can see it a mile away. He's one of them guys that does not know how to stop.
But isn't that the job?
And you need to have. I'm not saying like I don't know what goes on day to day.
Yeah.
But you need to. He's the kind of guy. Like if you tell Jose, yo, don't spar at all today.
He'll spar.
He gonna go somewhere else and spar. Like he's that kind of guy.
Holy shit. They got sometimes the trainers got to put a rein in some of these horses, because if you don't, like you say, you can burn out.
It sounds like you're hating because he's getting paid. That sounds like a sucker shit. Nah.
About who?
We're apparently, according to MEZBX, we're hating because he's getting money.
Who's this?
Now, truth be told,
is that about Devin?
I'm gonna be honest as possible here. I don't give half of a singular fuck how much he's getting paid. I'm only telling you that Devin didn't take the Sandor Martin fight because the fight is only worth. Listen, in boxing, fighters and fights have market values. That fight is only worth a certain amount of money, and Devin wanted more money than it was worth, i.e., pricing yourself out. Eddie Hearn confirmed this, so don't get mad at me. Eddie Hearn confirmed the damn fight.
Yeah, and back to what I was saying. If you worry, Devin should be the last one to worry about money. He got money. What he should have been worried about is rebirthing himself, coming back again, and showing his fans that he can kick some ass after Garcia kicked his ass. That was the principle of the whole thing, not about his money. Now, in my case,
there's an argument going on about like the Jose Ramirez, like what you call it? There's a whole argument going on about like, did Jose Ramirez become aged out because of training camps or because of the fights? And the answer is both.
Yep.
Fighters, the majority of your life as a fighter is spent in the gym for camp, right? So that's where the wear and tear on your body is most of it's going to be in camp. But if you have a come forward, aggressive, attrition type of style like Ramirez, that'll also aid you too, because now you're taking punches from really high level guys who know what they're doing with no headgear on. And that's going to cause a lot of damage. So with Ramirez, I think it was those two things, and it was the fact that he couldn't make weight. That he was having a hard time making weight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go along with BT said on that, because it's true. Being overworked and the fights you put in there, all the fights you've had, you're like a horse at the thoroughbred and runs a lot of races. Eventually, you're gonna shut down and that's it.
You didn't say Devin has been getting overpaid. No, I said that and I stand on it. He has been getting overpaid, and he's used to getting overpaid. So therefore, when it came time for him to take a fight that was actually at market value, he didn't take it.
And it would have helped him because it would have helped go in there, beat a guy like Martin, beat him down. The fans would
Devin shouldn't worry about money. Why are you pocket watching? I'm not pocket watching. I'm only telling you, my job is to cover the sport of boxing. We brought up Sandor Martin and why he didn't fight Devin Haney. I'm telling you why he didn't fight Devin Haney. Why Devin Haney didn't fight him. Devin Haney didn't fight him because Devin Haney wanted more money than the fight was worth.
You guys, like, when you keep talking about this Devin issue about what
Truth be told, I don't really even care about Devin like that. Devin Haney is not a fighter that I get excited to watch fight.
And we're not pocket watching. I'm not pocket watching what you did. What I'm saying is, if you got your fucking ass kicked all over the damn ring by another fighter named Garcia, and you got a chance to fight a fighter like Martin, right? That you can go in there and redeem yourself, so the fans don't keep riding your ass and tell you you got a fucked up fight. You take that fight, you beat the fuck out of St. Martin, and you move on. You make your money, and you go to bigger fights. You decided not to do that, so this is what happens. So I don't care. My son will tell you what I think about Devin Haney.
You listen, was it MEZBX? You've been here long enough. You know what he thinks about Devin Haney.
It's not about that we're watching how much money he should have gotten or whatever you want to say. All I'm saying is that if it was me, I already got enough money in the bag. I'll take whatever money I got. Let me go redeem myself to my fans who are watching me, so they don't think I'm the shit of me. Now you're going into a fight with an older, experienced fighter, an Olympian, that you have to go in there and you got to show out. You better show out because people talk more shit about you if you don't.
A lot of you guys bringing up Jose Ramirez ducking Rega's program. I haven't forgot about Jose Ramirez ducking Rega's program at all. In fact, that's actually one of the reasons. That was one of the turning points of where I really stopped believing in him at all. As a top level fighter. You know.
But shout out to all you guys. Hit that like button. Good comments.
Am I going to see the Inoue fight? Listen, man, I'm not even sure what I'm having for lunch yet. Why? See, didn't I tell you? We're not even in the middle of March.
Yeah,
I told you.
Oh shit! The first couple you get.
Listen, I should be there. I don't know yet, but I'm not even thinking that far ahead.
We're talking about this live.
We're talking about this live. I'm worried about what I'm gonna have for lunch later.
Damn,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I should be there.
Holy crap! Thank you guys for all your comments, good or bad. Hit that like button, super chat. We love you guys. We're just talking.
All right. MEZBX says, I remember when Pop said Regis was gonna beat Devin Haney. Yeah.
And I still have progress. I like him. I mean, he got whatever. He folded. You right. I like when you guys give me reminders because this old man can remember everything, and I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the comments.
All right, last fight on the card. Ryan Garcia versus Rolly.
I got Garcia all the way, but it's kind of weird not seeing Rolly come out and talk a lot of junk. He was real quiet and real subdued. And I think I'm gonna say what the Ring Magazine guy said. Fisher said. He said, what's his name comes in there and Rolly comes in and he throws wild punches, but if he lands one, you gotta watch out. And that's what I'm saying. The plus side, even though he loses something on Rolly, is his awkwardness. That's what you have to contain with. You gotta protect about those wild punches. If he lands one, he can get you. But I think that Garcia is gonna win this easily. I don't think it's gonna be.
I'm gonna pair it with Sean Tatel said yesterday in our collab. I don't know if it's out yet. Maybe he'll drop it later if he hasn't already. Basically, Rolly has gotten civilized.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Rolly has gotten civilized. I think growing up, maturing, going through a lot of things he's went through in his life, it's made him civilized. It's good for him in his life. So God bless him in his life. But for boxing, you gotta remember, Rolly didn't have no crazy amateur background. He took boxing up very late in his life. One of the things that made Rolly got him to this level was being a little fucked up in the head. Yeah. Being a little crazy. So if he's civilized, it doesn't work for him, right?
He's got to be
Factor in Rolly's been training with Ismail Salas. Now look, I love Ismail Salas, friend of the program, great trainer, great gym, all the respect in the world. I give to Ismail Salas. But Ismail Salas is a trainer that's very much about being by the book. The slogan for his gym, they literally call his gym the House of Fundamentals.
Right.
Rolly Romero does not win fights by being fundamentally sound.
No.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's really for him counterproductive. I think it's counterproductive. And I also think that, like, you know, Ryan Garcia, from what we can see, he looks a little more focused.
I would have rather have him stay with Bullet.
Bullet was good for him.
Because they'll go wild, he let him do it more comfortable. And Garcia will go in there, throw his punches, do his thing, but he's comfortable with that style.
Because think about it.
If you go in and you change him, if you change the style, or like Brendan says, the fundamentals, that's not who he is. That's not who he is.
So we'll see how it goes, man. I think if Ryan keep this fight nice and long, at mid-range, you know, pick his spots, don't get into too many 50-50 exchanges, he should beat Rolly pretty easily.
He's gonna knock him out?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Unless, for sure. I don't see how he does, because even if Rolly won in the survival mode, Rolly just has bad defense.
Yeah. You've always said that.
He's got very piss poor defense.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, Rolly at 147 is gonna be stronger. So I think if Rolly comes to the mentality of like getting in the pocket, pushing Ryan back, making this fight real physical, he has to resemble that sparring session that he got famous for against Ryan. He needs to replicate that in this fight.
That's what official was talking about.
In this fight, he needs to actually find a way to replicate that in this fight, because if he stays here with all this Cuban boxing, boxeo con flow bullshit, he's gonna get sparked out. Ryan is going to knock him out, and it's not gonna be particularly difficult for him.
So would you say if Rolly went back and went films of the sparring, would emulate that the way he fought the sparring with?
Yeah. But it might be hard though. It might be hard for him to do.
But what did he do? It
might be hard for him to do at this point in his career, because
movement, right?
He's been knocked out. He got knocked out by Tank. Ismael Barboza beat the brakes off of him, right? Yeah. Even though that was a crazy fight where he got lucky. He needs to be in a certain mind frame. To get in the pocket, to get past that Ryan Garcia left hook.
Yeah, I know.
He needs to be in a certain type of mind frame. And I just don't know, and I don't believe.
Do you think it's possible that he can get a liver shot like Tank did? Garcia nailed down like that? A crazy wild shot like that? Or no? Because he don't fight that way, right? I'm talking about Rolly.
Do you remember when Ryan Garcia fought Romero Duno?
Yeah.
Remember that knockout?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Roy this fight.
Holy shit.
Just like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Enough said on that, yeah.
Rusty Cage says, you got beef with Boxel con Flow? No. It works. Boxel con Flow works for certain fighters. Like, it works. It works for Alberto Puello. It's worked for Lara. Yeah. It's worked for Carlos Adames. It works for Kazuto Ioka. It works for Kosai Tanaka. It works for a lot of fighters. But one fighter I don't think it'll ever work for is Rolando Rolly Romero.
For Rolly, you're gonna put the name awkward behind him. He's an awkward fighter. So being an awkward fighter, you can't really put him in a set style because you don't know what to expect.
When Rolly's at his best, he's awkward and he's reckless.
Yeah.
All right. That's how he needs to be. Side encounter, he says, we're pull it up right here. By the way, guys, shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash that like button.
Thank you so much for thinking about it.
He says, I think Rolly might have to be physical and throw his clubbing punches in volume, hoping he gets. Yeah, he kind of has to resemble like a Mayorga and do what you said. He can't be in there doing boxeo con flow against Ryan Garcia. It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
Not at all. It didn't. Listen, forget Ryan. It couldn't even work against Pitbull Cruz. Yeah. How the hell is it gonna work against Ryan? I know you can't do math in boxing, but I'm saying, no, absolutely not. Harold wants to know from you, Pop. He says, Pops, can I get your thoughts on Gary Anton Russell beating the crap out of Ryo? I told you how much of a diva bitch Ryo was ever since he went to Robert Garcia. And those are Harold's words, or not mine.
Yeah, he told me we were talking about the fight, and I was telling him I like Russell, but I did say that I said, man, I want Ryo. I just like Ryo. I like to get that one power. You bring it in there. But boy, did Russell prove me wrong. Now, PVC fighter, right? Prove me wrong, huh, Harold?
He said.
But it was funny, Harold. I had somebody in the car with me, so I didn't have time to see. I had the video in the car watching the fight, and I couldn't watch the fight because I was talking to somebody. And I'm like, when I last seen it, man, I see Ryo's face. I said, man, this motherfucker got to him. So shout out to you, Harold. Shout out to BBC fighters. I know you love them. You were right. I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Gary too by decision, and I got my prediction dead accurate.
Did
but
you?
I didn't think it was going to be a 12-0 whitewash or 11-1. Like,
what happened to him, man?
To be honest, like the boxing ring tells the truth, and I think, you know, in retrospect, Ryo beat a guy who really wasn't a 140-pounder to win the title.
Wow.
So Ryo and then Ryo got beat at 135 by a 130-pounder in Chris Colbert in the first fight.
Wow.
So yeah. Ryo was never really a 140-pounder. Okay. Like that yeah. And it was found out real quick with Gary Anton Russell. Yeah. You know? David Jackson says Gary bros are insane. Him and his brother were robbed before. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, you know what's crazy about Gary Russell Jr. is Gary Russell Jr. is a world championship trainer at 36 years old.
That's crazy, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? I think he did a good job. In that in the corner. Good. I think Gary Russell Jr. did a good job in the corner giving instructions. Like
I actually do like the Russell. Especially when you had an interview. Guys, check out that interview that Brendan had when he first ran into
Garrett Jr.?
Yeah, Jr. He's really laid back, very humble. He talks. I mean, I like what and I like the Russells. The Russells are not the Abdullahs, but just having a family-oriented mold that you have with your father, blessed in heaven, and to keep it there and have a Junior take over the reins of his father and to teach the younger one what to do. It's good. It's a win-win for everybody in that.
Yeah. I'm in the minority. I thought Chris Colbert beat Ryo in the first fight, and it was legitimate. But even if he didn't beat, like, even if you think Ryo beat Chris Colbert in the first fight, the fact that he couldn't put him away in that first fight, it should have been, like, to everyone in the world that was, like, buying stock in Ryo, how good he was, that the alarm bell should have been going off in your head. And it wasn't for a lot of people, you know?
And Russell was more like a pressure fighter. He can't handle pressure, right?
Nah, Ryo can't deal with pressure and volume, never.
That's what happened. Brendan told me that. He's picking the wrong guy.
The Russell brothers throw a quick combination, but I feel they throw on spurts at the same speeds. They don't switch speeds, but it's working for them so far to an extent. Yeah, and like that Gary, right? Gary Anton Russell, the way he fights, like, I know there's a possibility he might fight Andy Hiroka. That habit he has, I think it might get him severely hurt by Andy Hiroka because, you know, Hiroka is a long-range southpaw sniper, you know, power puncher down the middle, and Gary keeps his head in the middle. So that fight would be very, very exciting if it does happen, but that could be a problem for him down the road. But for Ryo, it was more than enough, you know? By the way, guys, look, we're at that part of live. We ran through Tank. We ran through the whole the Ring Magazine card. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. We're at an hour and 13 minutes, so we'll make it an even hour and a half today. We got 17 more minutes, so get your questions in. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Definitely super chat. And all that stuff. So yeah, you guys.
Thank you all for being here.
Let me see. As long as the fight is not in Japan, Gary will beat Andy Hiroka. Well, Hiro, you know how it goes.
Well, Hiro, if he goes to Japan, he just have to knock him the fuck out. You have to go in there. The Americans got to go in there and forget about where they're at and go in there and fire. They can't just sit back and if you're a fighter, just used to having your crowd behind you and blah, 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 and all this other stuff, you know, you forget about that. You got to go in and just do your job. Going back to Ryo real quick, do you think him leaving Benavidez Sr. affected him or no? It would have been the same outcome.
I think he would have had a better chance to beat Gary, or at least have a better performance with Benavidez, because I don't know. You know what? No, I can't even say that, because he had Jose in his corner when he fought Chris Colbert the first time, and the same problems he had in that fight he had with Robert.
Okay, so the trains wouldn't have made a difference.
Nah, he is who he is. MEZBX says, "What do you guys think of Tim Tszyu versus Joey Spencer?" Truth be told, I haven't thought too deeply about that fight. I think it's the perfect fight to make for Tim Tszyu if you're trying to get back in the win column. Like, Joey's he's tough, you know. I got respect for Joey Spencer. He's a good, cool guy, but you know, it's a good fight. You know, I feel like for Joey, right? Because the last time I seen Joey fight, he fought Jesus Ramos, and Jesus Ramos just bullied him, like, just straight up bullied him. With Tim, you know, Tim,
Zeus gonna wipe him all over the floor.
Yeah.
Fuck Spencer, the white dude.
Joey Spencer,
yeah, no.
You don't like him?
No, he's decent. He's a decent average fight. He put in there with opponents, but he ain't in no level with Susan. I'll tell you right now.
We'll find out, right?
He ain't no level.
We're going to find out. Come find out.
It's good. It's going to whatever. I don't even think it's going to be a whitewash. I promise you that. I promise you.
We'll see how it goes. I wish Joey Spencer the best. I think Zeus should probably beat him though. Zeus should get him out of there within like 8 rounds, 7, 8 rounds. Spencer's good, but like Spencer defense isn't like the best. You know, he can get pushed back and bullied. He showed that in the Ramos fight. Yeah, doesn't mean he can't change. Maybe he's been in the gym and he's been correcting some things, but more they brought him there for a reason.
Yeah.
He's the B-side fighter on the road. I will lean towards Zoo, but I'm telling you this. I haven't done any film study or like thought too deep about it. I'm just telling you
about it until you do studies.
Yeah. Emmy, he says he thinks they're cashing out Joey Spencer as a prospect. Yeah, I can see that. I kind of feel like that already happened when he fought Ramos, like because they used him to build up Ramos. But yeah, they're going to continue that process with Zoo, you know, on the highest level because Zoo they need to get Zoo back in the win column because man, Zoo lost Fundura and then he got blasted out by Bakram in the most embarrassing fashion. Yeah. So
I still think Zoo's still a good.
Howard says, will you be at the Fundura versus Cordell Booker fight? It looks like they are going to set up Jesus Ramos. Now, look, I don't give a damn about that fight at all. If I'm being honest, I don't really rate Fundura that highly, and Cordell Booker is just he's all right. I've seen him fight a couple times. He's cool. Mm-hmm. But there's a certain fighter who I'm not going to say by name, but if they get him on the undercard, I will be there. You know, if they get a certain fighter on the undercard, I will be there. You know, because he's my friend. But other than that, probably not.
I like Monkey too.
Are you surprised that Eubank is a favorite on DraftKings? I want him to win, but I'm worried that Ben will stop him. No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. I think he should be the favorite. First of all, he's a better fighter. He's fought at a higher level. And I also think that he's bigger. But they're gonna wait. Listen, they're gonna weight drain him. That's why this fight's happening. They're gonna weight drain him and try to get Conor Ben a win. Ain't it crazy how both these guys don't want to try to fight for a world title and then both.
It's crazy. I mean, you've been saying that for years. Without no disrespect to you, but you've been saying that come on, man. But I mean, if you look at it, no, they're not Ryan Garcia, right?
Yeah,
they're not Ryan Garcia, but they literally they're so popular because of their father's last name, and they know that they're gonna make money off the fight. So the real winners here is not even the people that are gambling, people who are picking. It's the real winner is gonna be fucking Eddie Earns. So he's gonna make the pocket, but I think Eubank is going to beat. I think Eubank will beat Ben.
With Spencer and Nico Elise exposed, who is the next great white hope of boxing? That's a great question. The next great white hope? I mean, there's some good white hopes. I can tell you who I like, but he's got a lot to prove still. I like. I'm biased.
Tutors?
Yeah, I'm going with South Florida. Listen. I'm gonna go with South Florida over everything. Listen, Eric Tudor. No, listen. I'm gonna go with Eric Tudor because he had a tough loss at 154 to Jose Luis Sanchez, right? But he ain't at 154 no more. He's at welterweight.
Yeah,
he's welterweight now.
Yeah.
So I think, look, if Eric Tudor can continue making welterweight healthily, I'm gonna say Eric Tudor can win a world title. Because welterweight is weak. It's a weak division. Yeah. I think in the coming years he could get moved into a position to fight for a world title. Maybe win the right opponent.
When is Boots and Stone fighting?
April 12th. April 12th. My man said Eric Priest. Eric Priest is good. I mean, I've seen him fight a little bit. I don't know a ton about him.
Yeah.
Other than the little highlights I've seen, but he's solid. What do I think about what do you guys think about the Turkey news? Fire, right? I mean, depends. I don't have any reaction to it. It's just it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. I
look at it how Brendan told me when I first mentioned. I asked Brendan a few weeks back, a month ago. Then when I asked him about Turkey being in UFC, Brendan said he's always been involved with UFC.
Yeah, they've always been involved.
So it's just another piece of pie, another pie added to the piece of pie.
We'll see how it goes. That's the approach I'm taking. I'm always skeptical when it comes to anything with Turkey. I'm not like everybody else in boxing where I'm just gonna co-sign everything he does and dick ride the guy. He has to prove a lot with me. Duarte versus Mercado, if it happened, man, that's a good fight. Very explosive fight. Two big punchers, two different types of punchers. Duarte is a more shorter, compact puncher. Mercado's more of a mid-range sniper type fighter, very sharp fighter. I would like that fight. but I don't think it happens.
50-50 fight?
Huh?
So a 50-50 fight?
No, I give the slight edge to Mercado. Very slight, you know. BT, Doug Fisher got a lot of criticism yesterday. I don't think he was the right to be the host. He's too nerdy. They need Brian Custer. Don't be surprised if Turkey doesn't use him again. Listen, man, I love Doug Fisher. That's my guy. So I'm not gonna say anything disparaging about him. But I think what I think they should have did. This is my opinion from watching him. I think the press conference should have been co-hosted. Like they should have had two hosts, and it should have been Eddie Hearn and De La Hoya hosting it because the whole card is all their fighters.
Oh, that's right.
It should have been They should have used the De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, like little banter angle that we see on Instagram. They should have used it for this press conference because I think it would have came out a lot better if they did. I'm sure Doug Fisher did the best he could, but ultimately he lost control of the press conference in certain spots, and I think just personality-wise, it would have been the best it could have been if you would have had Hearn and if you would have had
But I get why
De La Hoya.
They used him
but I understand he's the Ring Magazine editor. I get it, but if they're trying to make this the best press conference possible, you had Hearn, you had De La Hoya, and they barely talked.
Yeah,
think about how crazy it is.
That's what Brendan was telling me.
I was saying, I'm like, how the hell do you have Eddie Hearn at a press conference and he hasn't talked for almost an hour
like
or 40 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But hopefully they'll get, like Brendan said, they'll get the right host or you both on the next one. Who knows?
We'll see how it goes. MAZBX mentioned something that me and you were talking about. He said, your boy Philip Hergovich is going to smash Joe Joyce. Yes, I just saw the news. He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Y'all listen. I know for a fact he's been busting his ass in training, and he's pissed. Like Philip Hergovich is pissed off because I can barely get a hold of Philip Hergovich.
Yeah.
It was a miracle by God that I was even able to get a hold of him on WhatsApp, and because he's been very quiet and just training with his family and things like that. He's gonna be fighting Joe Joyce April the 5th.
Didn't they fight in the Olympics?
They fought in not the Olympics. They fought. Was it the Olympics?
I don't know if it was the Olympics.
Might have been the Olympics or the World Series of boxing.
Yeah.
One of those two. But listen, they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna fight. Hergovich, I think, should be the favorite because Hergovich is the more fresher of the two.
Yeah.
But he still didn't look like he didn't look great in his last fight.
No,
and he's had this routine of not looking great in these fights. So we need Hergovich to look great in a fight, right? And Joyce, he lost to Chisora. He's been losing a lot of fights. Got knocked out by Zhang twice.
Yeah.
People are ready to throw him to the curb. So really, you want to talk about a do or die fight for both people?
Either or, yeah.
It's a do or die fight for both of them. It's a career defining fight.
Yeah.
For both of them.
I think
Joyce wins this fight, he's back in the mix.
Yeah.
Hergovich loses this fight, he really ain't gonna get no fights.
It's because I've been watching the heavyweights this week or last week. We were watching. Brandon says it's funny how Joyce beat both of these guys, and he's out the picture.
Yeah, Joyce beat Parker. He beat Dubois.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Now Parker and Dubois is like the biggest fight in the division, or one of the biggest fights in the division.
What the hell? Yeah, it's crazy.
Duarte versus Sims not happening. No, it's not happening anymore. I mean, they were supposed to fight last year. Kenneth Sims pulled out with an injury, right? That didn't happen. So Duarte moved on. And now, I mean, look, I think that's a fight they should revisit. Sims and Duarte is still a very good fight. They're both around the same level of 140 pounders. They're both trying to get to the next level. So that's a fight that should happen for the division. My dad was asking about Kenneth Sims yesterday.
But what do you think about off the trap? But I gotta ask you, Wiggins 147 since 147 is weak.
Trayshawn Wiggins?
Yeah, why they don't give fights for him now? I think he'd be good to fight a lot of fighters right now.
He would. Trayshawn Wiggins would be a good fighter for a lot of fighters to fight now. But Trayshawn Wiggins, I mean, I don't know. It's all right. So there's a very, I'm not gonna say his name, but there's a very known welterweight. Because if I say his name, you guys are all gonna know who he is.
Yeah.
But there's a very known welterweight that I talked to in November.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, hey, you should fight Trayshawn Wiggins. And this welterweight, you know what he told me? He said, why would I fight him? Because, I'm already going to get ranked in other sanctioning bodies, and he's got like 5 or 6 losses. So if I beat him, that doesn't prove anything to me. If he has a good fight with me, that devalues me.
Yeah.
So his record actually kind of works against him, but it shouldn't. And this guy told me that he's a pretty highly ranked welterweight.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm like, wow, you I was cool with him, but in the back of my head, I'm like, bro, you sound like you on some bullshit. Like, fight the damn guy.
And he's still signed with Don King, right?
Who, Trayshawn Wiggins?
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know because I saw he signed with some other company now, but I'm not sure how that works legally.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Can't read comments and stuff like that. We don't know.
David Jackson says, I liked and subbed. First time seeing you guys in my argument. How often do y'all stream? Not as often as we should, but I'm trying to get into a rhythm. So we went live yesterday around this time.
Yeah.
Today makes it 2 days in a row. We'll see what we can talk about tomorrow. But I normally try to go. I'm trying to go live like 3 to 4 times a week. So if you just
if you can't find us, you find I call them. It's just me. I'm biased for both of them. I call them the masterminds of boxing.
and Sean
Zattel and
Sean, yeah.
And Sean Zattel, follow his channel and BT. They both collab once a week, every week.
Once a week, yeah.
They talk about the weekly fights or the ones that come out, and those are the guys. Like I'm here and I'm psycho and crazy, but having them, you really get a lot of knowledge off of them also. But thank you so much for
Thank you so much, David Jackson, and welcome to the home of boxing. Yeah. Is Caballero on your top 3 heavyweights? Top 3? Let me see. You got Usyk is 1. I wouldn't say he's top 3, but he's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think he definitely fought his way into top 5 heavyweight territory, beating these guys in dominant fashion. I want to see Caballero get a big fight soon, for sure. Yes, I'm on. Yeah, so just so you know, Sean's like one of my best friends. So me and Sean are like really cool. I've been knowing Sean since 2016. So we're talking about almost 10 years. I've known him. I just seen Sean. I was with him a lot in New York this past week. So that's my guy.
He's got a lot of experience with boxing. He's been doing it for 10 years? 15?
Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, over 10.
He used to work for Fight Hype. Now he's
Boxing Boys.
Now he's got Boxing Boys. Now he's got a channel with
But he's on Sean's channel, so he knows.
Okay.
He says, I hate the mainstream dick riders that only talk about big names. See, on this channel, David, I'm the opposite. I actually hate talking about half the time. If I could just get views talking about the no-name fighters, I would just talk about the no-name fighters all the time.
It's funny you say that.
I would rather talk about the guys that nobody has heard about than the mainstream guys.
I tell my son, I say, hey, there's this big fight this week going on. You don't cover anything. He says, Dad, please, let me do what I'm doing. And he'll go on to do his own thing. And eventually he'll put out the news about everybody else.
Like the news.
But it's not like, because a lot of channels are putting out and so biased about certain things that he's not like
the news cycle doesn't control this channel. Like if something happens, I'm not gonna rush to make a video about it all the time. I always have like my own videos I want to do. Like right now on my phone, I got like 10 videos that have nothing to do with big names that I want to make, and I'm trying to get to those videos. So sometimes it's annoying because I want to get to those videos, but I gotta talk about the big stuff because people are gonna ask me about it. So
and he also, what I like about my son is some people come in here and say, hey, have you looked up this fighter? Have you learned about this fighter? He'll hear you. You might think he heard it, but then he doesn't have the time because so much backlog. But he'll put that in his mind, in his notebook, and he'll make a video about that fighter at a certain time and date. You know what I mean?
Am I going to the NOA fight? We'll see what God says.
Jeez, you and I, when you say,
are you going to the NOA fight? We will see what God says.
Yeah.
But I should be there.
Yeah.
We'll see. Is Bakoli versus Agjagba on the Canelo versus Skull undercard? I haven't heard anything about the Canelo versus Skull undercard, but they should. It lines up because they were saying Bakoli's going to fight in May, and that fight's in May, and it's in Saudi, so it should happen. But I don't know if it's going to happen anymore because Agjagba versus Bakoli was supposed to be an IBF eliminator fight. Bakoli lost his eliminator position by losing to Parker. So, I don't know how that works.
So now they got to put somebody else in place of him?
They'd have to because I'm sure Agjagba would love to fight Bakoli, but I'm sure Agjagba also wants to fight for the heavyweight title or get the opportunity to get a position to fight for the heavyweight title.
Right.
So whether it's Bakoli or not, they gotta figure that whole situation out.
Yeah. That's true.
Caballero versus Hughie Fury. I haven't heard anything about Hughie Fury in a while. So y'all could probably tell me about Hughie Fury.
Yeah.
But I want to see Caballero get a shot. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Parker. Honestly, I think he's earned that kind of a fight. He says, I'm going. I hope Jin Sasaki is in the fight. Me too. That's my guy.
I like
that's my guy. I got Jin Sasaki on Instagram. That's my guy. Good fighter. Very entertaining. Still has to clean his defense up. I like Jin.
Yeah. But
he will listen, Jin. You can be champion, Jin, but you gotta clean up your defense. If you don't clean up his defense, you're gonna get found out real soon. Yeah. So hopefully he can do that because he's got a whole lot of athletic ability and explosiveness and just a lot of things that make him really entertaining. I actually think, and this is my own personal opinion, because of how Jin Sasaki is like his fighting style, him being a welterweight, and the fact that he actually makes the effort to try to speak English, I actually think Jin Sasaki has a chance to be a bigger star in America than Inoue.
Probably.
That's my opinion. I'm not saying he's better, but like if he can at least get good enough to win a world title and be on that type of a level with his personality, the way he speaks, and like he's speaking English now,
so he can resonate.
I think he'll resonate more with the American audience just because. So we'll see. Last question, and then we'll get out of here. This is from MEZBX Pops. He wants to know from you: did you see Jared Anderson's last fight?
No, I didn't see his fight.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
I haven't really tuned into Jared Anderson because I know we all go through our mental cycles or whatever. We all have America has this problem with that, but come on, Jared, man. I see. Oh, prime example, and that this is, I don't know why I went into. I shouldn't have gone into this, but yeah, Jared he disappointed me in a lot of things right now. He talks too much on like all the other fighters, so they're just worrying what he's got to get done. If not, just do like me, take the dog for a walk and get your mind right. Jared Hurd. I felt bad for that guy. He fell from grace. I mean, I watched him this past week.
He didn't want to be there.
No,
he don't be
there.
He
said he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire.
And he was talking about that shit at the press conference. I was
disappointed with Anderson. I don't know how good he did or what he did. No, I didn't see the fight.
Yeah, Jared doesn't love boxing. You know, it is what it is. I'm not tripping off of Jared Anderson. I never believed in Jared Anderson, so
I liked him.
Nothing is surprising. I was hoping that I would be proven wrong, and I was hoping he would be way better than I thought he was. But he's actually a little worse than I thought he was. Yeah. And he doesn't love boxing, so it is what it is.
Yeah, when he came up with that, told me that when they had that video when I watched it, I'm like, is this guy serious? So you're doing half-ass boxing? One trainer who I remember told a boxer, McKinley,
Stacey McKinley,
Tyson trainer at one time. He said, if you ain't here 24 hours a day, every day, I don't give a fuck what you do. You're not gonna be something because you're not
boxing. Listen, whether you're a fighter, whether you're a manager, whether you're in the media like me, boxing is a jealous woman, and it demands that you devote all your time to her. Because if you do not, you'll get found out, and you won't ever get to where you want to get to and progress and those kind of things. But guys, on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up because we went like an hour and a half. I got other things I gotta attend to today. So listen, I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. If I am live tomorrow, you will see something scheduled for around this time tomorrow. But until then, listen, you guys take care. God bless. Stay tuned for all the content on True School Sports. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.